Hello everyone, welcome to Southern Minnesota and the start of a brand new series. Now what we're going to be doing here today is something that I haven't really done that much in Farm Sim, and that is cattle. I don't really do that much with animals, maybe a little bit with chickens here and there, but I haven't really done that much with animals. So up there we've got a few cattle barns, down here we've got fermenting silos, so we've got a few things set up already for a big cattle operation. We're not doing dairy, probably just beef cattle. But yeah, this is going to be the start of our cattle operation. It should be pretty fun, hopefully a good learning experience. And let me just give you a quick tour. Now right here is kind of just like our second driveway. I'm going to just walk down the road to the main driveway. And I can kind of show you what we got. So down here is where all our machinery is kept. We got a shed here, a shed there, garage here. Got our fermenting silos. So this is kind of where all the machinery is going to be kept, the base of the operations. This is really where it is. And then up there, you can see I've got a little road that goes to a few more sheds and 2 big cattle barns. That's where all the cows will be kept. But most of the machinery will be down here, all the animals and animal-related stuff. That'll be all done up there. Now here's pretty much the main farm. This is where all our machinery is kept. We've got the big shed here. I think this is like a 70 by 120, and then over here we've got, I think, a 50 by 70. So 2 pretty decent sized sheds. We've got a good size yard. We've got 2 fermenting silos. This one is a little bit newer than that one. It's got a little bit more capacity. We do also have some silage bunkers up there that we can use for fermenting as well. But I'm just going to kind of start at the house right here. If we open up the garage door, we have what's kind of going to be our car. We've got the Kubota side-by-side. We did go with the 2-seater option. Got a small little bed back here. I don't know, you could probably haul a bale or a pallet with it. I don't know, it's nice. It's something a little different than a truck. We do have a truck in there, but this is kind of just going to be our car, you could say. And in here, pretty nice little house. We've got, most houses don't have interiors, so makes this one kind of cool. Nice living room, pretty small kitchen, dining room. Got lots of nice windows, which is cool. I think this is probably our room. Got a nice view of the shed, and I think you can see the silos in the field. Got another room in here. It's a pretty well decorated bathroom. Nice. Okay, well, so that's a little bit of a house tour. Now I'll move on to something a little more interesting. This is our big machine shed. And as you can see, we've got a few tractors. I think first up, this is kind of our pickup truck. It's a F-350 dually with like a flatbed on it. So, I mean, yeah, we could use this as a car, but we're mostly just going to be using the side-by-side to kind of get from the cattle down to here, or we can just walk. But this is a pretty nice flatbed, works well as a trailer. Now, our one and only Deere tractor. This is the 8320R. It's got power shift transmission, front ILS suspension. It's got row crop duals with weights in the rear. It does have a green star. I think, yep, it does have a quick hitch at the back. So this is a little bit older tractor, but it is a pretty good one. It's kind of our mid-sized tractor. Probably going to be doing a lot of probably pulling the wagons for the forage harvester. Could probably also use it to run the grain car as well, and definitely for planting. This is probably going to be our main planting tractor. It's got the front weights, got a pretty good amount of power behind it. And now here's kind of our small compact tractor. It's also our loader. This is the Fendt, I believe it's a 720. Yep, 720 S4. And then we have the Cargo 5X loader for it. Pretty powerful loader. We've got some tools here. We've also got a few more tools like bale handlers and a manure fork up there. So this tractor is pretty versatile. It does have the rear weights. We could use it for field work, and it probably will see some, but overall it's going to be a great utility tractor. Now, as you can probably see sitting behind it, this is the big guy, the Fendt 942 Vario. It's got a 1.5 ton front weight, full duals. We did have to go with the European style duals. I know we're in the US, but we do have to go with European style. I can't find an American style Fendt, but it does look pretty good. It's got, I think, like 415 horsepower, so pretty powerful. If we just hop inside it real quick, got pretty good visibility. We've got a cooler in here so we can have lunch in the field. We've got all our steering assist. Even with the duals, it's got pretty good visibility all around. So that is going to be our main tractor, probably for tillage and probably also pulling the wagons for the forage harvester. And speaking of the forage harvester, this is it. It is a Kloss 950. It's got the corn cutting head on the front. I think it's a 7.5 meter, so pretty good size. We did go with the wheeled version instead of the TerraTrack. It's just a lot more cost effective. And yeah, this is going to be our big silage cutter. We do have 2 wagons kind of by the cattle, and that'll be used for getting this thing unloaded, keeping it going in the field. Also in here we have our Vertistad disc. This is what you use, I think, right after the corn. You take this through the field, then you can take a cultivator through, but you have to disc, then cultivate before you plant. And then over here is our big J&M grain cart. So we're not only doing cattle, we're also doing some row crop soybeans. We're not going to do any row crop corn, but row crop soybeans is going to be what's flowing through here. Now, as you probably see, this shed looks quite a bit smaller on the inside than on the outside. And that's because if we run over here, we got a big rolling door back here, and this is kind of going to be the workshop. So if we just get this open, in here is our combine. And there it is, the John Deere S780. We went with duals and a folding grain tank. We do have, you may have saw it in the intro, but there is a MacDon flex header over there, and that'll be running on this. We don't have a corn header. I think that's because all the corn we have is going to be mostly turned into silage. I don't think we're going to harvest any of it for like grain. But this will be used for all our soybeans. We've got a field there of soybeans. So now we do have this nice kind of gravel driveway connecting the sheds. We've got these pretty big trees here for shade, which is nice. But I'm going to head over to this shed and show you what we got inside. Now over here is our MacDon flex header. This is a 40-foot FD240. This has got the built-in trailer system. Yeah, I did go with the John Deere paint scheme for it. Kind of got the green there. But yeah, so this will what be going on the S780. We'll be going through mostly soybeans, maybe some limited wheat perhaps. But we don't have a corn header for the combine just because all our corn is going to be put in the forage harvester. Now if we get this shed opened up, this is the smaller one. This is the, what did I say, 70 by 50 or 50 by 70. This is kind of the planting shed. So what we've got here is our 24-row 1775 NT. This is for our soybean planting and the corn planting. So all the big crops would go through here. And what we've got here, I think this is a 40, what was this? Okay, a 455 box drill. So this is going to be, once eventually I'd like to get some grass planted and then we can get mowers going through that. And that's what this will be for. And then this is our big field cultivator. This will be pulled behind the fence, 942. And this will be used to kind of get the nice seed bed you want for planting in. So it does take quite a bit of horsepower, but the Fendt can handle it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is hop in the side-by-side. Why can I get through the door? I'm just going to hop in the side-by-side, get this fired up, and we're going to head up to the cattle part of the farm. I haven't really used this thing much, and it's got some good pickup to it. It can go pretty fast. A little bump there, but yeah. So this is our road just up to the farm. It runs right alongside the soybeans. And yeah, it's pretty steep going up this. I can imagine if we try and pull a full wagon up here, it might take quite a bit of power. But up here is our 2 cattle barns. Alright, I'm just going to park the Kubota right there. And here's kind of the second part of the farm. I got the birds flying over, that's nice. But here are our 2 main cattle barns. This one is kind of for the younger cows. It's got a smaller lot. And then this one's kind of more big cow, high capacity one. Well, as you can see, we don't have cattle yet, and that's kind of because we have 280 grand in the bank. I'd like to buy maybe 100 to 90 cattle, because if we look, this barn can hold 135, and I think this one can hold the same. Okay, this one can hold 99. So we have capacity for 234 cattle, which that's a pretty good operation you got going. But I think eventually what I'd like to do is buy potentially 100 to maybe 150 in these two barns. I think that'd be a pretty good amount. Now over here are our two wagons. These will be pulled by the tractors behind the forager. And these will be holding all the chaff. And then we can dump them either in our silos down there or in the bunkers we have here. Also, this is, I think, a bale grabber. This can go on the small fence, and a manure fork as well. This is also, I think, a straw blower. I've never used this before, and it should be pretty interesting. But then right here are two silage bunkers. They're not super big. I think most of what we have is going to go in the silos down there. This is kind of like overflow capacity, or if we just want to, ferment it a different way, we can do that. A little bit of open space here. And then in here is kind of our grass stuff. So what we've got is a baler, a mower, and a merger. And pretty self-explanatory. Eventually, I'd like to plant grass in one of our fields that's soybeans or corn right now. And then we can plant grass in there. We can mow it, merge it, bale it, and then we can either make hay or give the cows grass bales. And then we can make TMR out of that, which is really good. Also, what we have here is a manure bunker for the small barn. And you can see over there we have another bunker and a spreader. That bunker is hooked up to that barn. So we got the manure spreader. Hopefully we can use all manure fertilizer. Hopefully we can, limit our chemical fertilizer usage. But I think that's pretty much it for equipment and buildings. I'll show you what we got for land. So here is the home farm. Down here is kind of where all the machinery stuff is. And then up here is all our big cattle pasture areas. Field 12 and 8 are beans, and then field 6 is corn. Now, if we want, we could forage the corn in August or September. So that's when we'd have to get field 6 harvested. And here's kind of just a full view of the map. We do also own 2 fields down here. 1 corn, 1 soybeans. So we've got 2 fields of corn that we can harvest, which should give us plenty of forage for the cows. And here's our home corn farm. This will be the first thing that gets foraged, which we might start today and then hopefully finish up next month, because I think you might be able to get a little bit better yield in September. But I'd like to get a little bit of food for the cows now before we even get them. So I think this field is going to have to go pretty soon. Now, this farm does have some room to expand. I would like to potentially in the future buy a second combine, just so we could keep the arable crop operation going. Along with that, maybe buy a grain bin as well. I might also need to buy a mixing wagon at some point just for making TMR, but that can probably wait till next month or so. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to park the side-by-side right here. We might need it again soon, I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to get the deer out of the shed so we can get the cloths moved out. And here we go. This is by far the most expensive thing on the farm. Just get this pulled forward. Make sure I don't hit anything, because with the header on this is about $500,000, this setup. And that's also kind of why I didn't go with the TerraTrack option, because right now with the header, this is about $500,000. I think it's actually $507,000. If I were to go with the tracks, it would probably be like 640 something thousand. So much more economical, that one. All right, we're getting the Fendt hooked up to the wagons first, and this thing can do 41 miles an hour. That is quite a lot for a tractor. All right, first wagon is hooked up. These are triple axles. I think these hold like 50,000 liters or so. And you can put both grains and like grass and chaff in them. So pretty versatile wagons. We've got 2 of them. I'll get the 8320R hooked up to the other one. Now, I don't exactly know why, but this tractor's drawbar is so low down that it actually picks up the rear axle. So we only have weight on these 2 axles. I think once the trailer gets weighed down a little bit more, that third axle will start hitting the ground. But it just feels really weird, because when you get inside, that rear axle's a turn axle. So now the wagon just kind of like starts slowly moving from side to side because that rear axle's not on the ground. It's fine for now because we're not going that far, but if we take this thing down the road, we have to be careful. Alright, I'm going to get an AI worker set up on the field. Luckily, we don't have to go that far. But we're going to start unfolding that. Get this set up, and we'll have the AI drive it just because I can't really drive it and a wagon. Alright everyone, the Forager is now going. I'm just going to get my cruise control set. I think about one lower. There we go. Alright, that's good. But there we go. We are harvesting. I only really did forage harvesting like once in FS22, and this is the first time in 25, so I mean right now it seems to be going pretty well. I just had an idea. What I should do is make a fence gate up there at the top of the hill, so what I can do is just drive the wagon and just dump it straight in the bunkers up there. Because otherwise what I have to do now is go all the way back down and go to the silos. Looks like the combine's doing pretty well. It's keeping up its speed, which is good. I was kind of worried it might run out of power, because this is some pretty steep hills we got. That's also why I went with the flex header for the normal combine, because we've got some pretty hilly ground and want to make sure we can easily harvest everything. So I think where the two wagons will really perform well is when we harvest that cornfield that's way over there, because what I can do is I can have an AI drive the harvester and then have another AI drive a tractor to and from the farm, and I can just sit here and sit behind the combine and let it eat. Alright everyone, well sorry about that, my game crashed. So yeah, well you already saw everything, so I guess in the next episode we will be fully harvesting that field of corn right there. And then, yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be a whole day's task. So that field of corn, next episode. Also, we'll probably be buying the cows either in October or maybe September. We'll see. Whatever month kind of works best, but probably 100 to 150 head of cattle will go in those two barns up there. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and I'd like to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.